Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for always joining me. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my simple flawless everyday makeup routine. So if you want to see how I achieve this flawless look, then subscribe first of all, join the family, join the cool gang, and keep on watching. I'm going to be going in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation in 30-hour wear, and this is already finished, so I'm just going to take out of the bottle. I'm supposed to get another one tomorrow though. I'm going to go in with my hands and apply this like a BB cream or like a CC cream the back, and I'm just going to rub this in really well. My skin is already moisturized, so that will make it easier to spread out the product evenly. Then when I'm done, if I need to go in with more product I will, but I will just spread it evenly and thinly with my fingers at first. So in areas where I need extra coverage, I'll go in with extra product and I'll use a brush like here. I'm going with a darker concealer or like a medium tone concealer, Fawn from LA Girl. Everybody knows LA Girl. She's the OG of the OG. So yeah, I use this under my eye like so, but I don't go too close to my eyeball because I don't want the under of my eyeball looking like very white or very bright, because that makes it look a bit unnatural, you know. So I'll curl around as well, sides of my mouth. I use a cream contour. This is the Milani Pot Concealer in the shade Warm Cocoa. So when you do your cream concealer, you take a very dense, packed brush and you kind of stipple it. Right? The blush I use is a cream blush from TM Essentials. It's called I Can't Make It. It's like an orange blush, but it does the job. So can you see that? Can you see that? So up, you know, blend it upwards on the cheekbones upwards like that. I'm using the Vicabel brush set for anybody who cares. It's a Nigerian brand as well. Nuban Beauty in my skin concealer in the shade 42.5. So I'm going to use that tiny little bit just right here, still avoiding directly under my eyes because I don't want under my eyes to look like really bright, you know. So going in with the Vicabel brush set NK5, I'm going to start from the darkest concealer to the lightest concealer to blend. So I'm going to blend this together with my blush, just stipple it in like so, stipple. So like you're stamping, you're not really swiping. You get wet with that. Then I'm going to blend out my forehead concealer, not too high though, but you know, because I don't want my forehead to be like super bright. That will make my whole face look cakey. Can you see, like we're just stamping and we're taking her up to the size of our nose. But this concealer is a really thick concealer anyway, this Nuban Beauty one. So see my nose here and see my nose here, because we are trying to make the nose look smaller. Now I'm going to take some of my cream contour and contour my nose. So I'm going in a V shape. So so that I can bring my eyebrows in like so. You don't have to go all the way down. You can just do the top, the very top and the very bottom like so. As I use the Laura Mercier translucent honey setting powder, and I use the Elsa's Pro setting powder. It's darker, so I use that like to sculpt my chin while I use this directly under my eyes, and I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent honey, then I take a powder puff, then I fold it like so that it can be able to enter the crevices of under my eye. So you pat it, remove the excess, right? Then you press at first. Like, I feel like some people like to say, oh, I just press in my concealer, I don't bake. But I'm a baking girl. I'm always going to bake, for real. I'm always going to bake. I love baking, but first I will set. I'll set, then I'll bake. I love baking. I feel like it helps the color pay off so much more than if you were just to press it. So yeah, I've applied the excess powder. So first I set by pressing in powder into the skin, right? Remember, you have to follow the shape of that concealer because we're trying to carve out our nose. So you have to follow the shape of that concealer that you've applied. So I've just used bare powder to just press in, right? Then I'll use like a bit more powder to set. Same thing in between our eyebrows, going in a V shape. Well, I used a bit too much there. Going in a V shape, you press the powder like so to your forehead, to places where you get oily. You press the powder in at first. So the bridge of my nose and my nose, you try to have as straight a line as possible, like a really, really straight line. And my chin. So my chin, I also love to bake my chin and the sides of my mouth as well, and also on top of my mouth. Now the darker powder is Elsa's Pro powder in Topaz. This is an extremely smooth powder. It's like one of the best setting powders I've ever used ever. Like, it's so good. So we just kind of use that to carve out, do you see, like use it on the darker areas to kind of carve out your under chin, like to give it that sharp look. We go from the sides of the mouth. Now if you notice, you have like an area of oiliness, so we're going to take care of that. So to fix that, we're going to take our pressed powder, any pressed powder at all, it doesn't matter. I'm using this palette that is from Frances and Maison or something. So I'm going to just take, it doesn't have to be a really dark shade. I'm going to take this shade right here, my exact skin tone shade, and I'm going to use that on my remember, this is my contour area, so I'm going to use it to try and take away some of that shine without destroying the blush. Do you get? So if you have a powder that is like your exact skin tone, you use that on your contour areas. The reason why I don't really like using a powder that is too dark is so that my contour doesn't become too harsh for everyday wear. So I just use the one that's my exact skin tone on it, and it doesn't take away that blush that we've added earlier. So all I'm doing is taking a setting powder and I'm mattifying my lids, only because I don't really want the shiny look on my lids. For my everyday look, I hardly ever do eyeshadow, but I mattify my lids so that it doesn't look too out of place. I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my brows. I use the Maverick pencil. First thing you want to do is to make sure that your pencils are really sharp. That way you can get very precise lines. So I'm just going to sharpen my pencil right here. Then show you guys how I do my eyebrows depending on how full they are. So as of now they're really full, so I'll just fill in the sparse areas, then use concealer. I don't really have to like draw it out and stuff. So so what I do is I draw the beginning and I draw the tail. So I'm just carving out my tail how I want it to be, so that when I'm using concealer I'll know exactly how I want it to be. So I've carved out the tail. You can see some stray hairs there, but just ignore it, it will go away in a second. So for the beginning, what I do is I just like use hair like strokes here as well. I like to bring my eyebrows in so that it can slim the bridge of my nose even more. The same here, I'll just draw lines. Do you see? Like try to bring in my eyebrows, then the ends carve out the tail as well. A little bit higher. For my everyday concealer, I use a darker concealer towards the beginning of my brows and a lighter concealer on the outside of my brows. Just going to take some of that Laura Mercier setting spray and I'm going to set my eyelids. I'm going to cover my lashes so that I don't get powder on my lashes, because I hate when I get powder on my lashes. After my eyebrows, the next thing I do is my lips. I'm using the Zaron pencil in the shade Cappuccino. I like to overline my top lip. The next thing I do is I take my Lady V Beauty lip palette and I try and create a flesh-like tone on my lips. So there's already a bit of lipstick here, but if you want to create a flesh tone, you want to start with an orange shade to cancel out any purple hues in your lips. So I'm going to use my fingers to massage the orange color. This is to cancel out any purple in our lips, so that whatever lip color we put on our lips will show its true colors. Cancel out. Then I'm going to go in with a bright pink shade, this one right here. I'm going to do is I'm going to dust off excess powder from my face. starting from under my mouth, on top of my mouth. I use a very clean brush that I only use for this purpose. Setting spray on my face before I put on my highlighter and my gloss. So take my loose highlighter. You can get these on AliExpress. You can get like 3 powders for like $2 on AliExpress, but this one is from Blossom Makeup and I've had it for like 5 years and it's still as full as it always was. It's like a gold shade. It's from Blossom Makeup. It's a Nigerian brand, so I just use a little bit, like a little bit. Smile. On my chin as well. Chin highlight is really important because the chin really brings out the face. On the bridge of my nose, you know, right there. I'm going to use a flesh colored, like my skin tone colored powder, and just sweep it all over my face. Okay, smoothing any imperfections and stuff. Mascara. I use my Ben Nye Final Seal. This sets in the makeup. Very minty. Now let me go do my hair and I'll be right back.